You are eating less, moving more, and your belly is getting bigger. This is not a willpower problem. This is not a discipline problem. This is a design problem. Right now, wrapped around your liver, your pancreas, and your intestines, your body is building something. Not by accident, on purpose. It is packing fat around your organs because one hormone looked at your life and decided you are in danger. Its name is cortisol, and it has been giving your body one command for years. Store energy where the organs can reach it. Prepare for a famine that will never come. This is not your fault. Your body is executing a survival blueprint that is 200,000 years old. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do, just in the wrong century. I am going to take that machine apart piece by piece, show you the trap, and hand you 5 signals that tell your biology the war is over. But first, you need to see what is hiding behind the fat you can pinch. The fat you see in the mirror is not the problem. That soft layer you can grab with your hand, that is subcutaneous fat. It sits between your skin and your muscle. It is passive. It is cosmetic. It bothers you at the beach. That is about all it does. The fat that is destroying your health lives deeper. You cannot pinch it. You cannot see it. But it is there, wrapped tight around your liver, packed between your intestines, pressed against your pancreas. It is called visceral fat, and it is nothing like the fat you know. Subcutaneous fat is a storage closet, quiet, passive, takes up space, and does nothing. Visceral fat is a chemical plant built in the middle of a residential neighborhood. It does not sit there waiting to be burned. It runs 24 hours a day. It pumps inflammatory cytokines into your bloodstream. It jams your insulin signaling. It hijacks your sex hormones. The bigger it grows, the more smokestacks it builds. And no organ in the neighborhood, not your liver, not your pancreas, not your gut, gets a moment of peace. This is the difference most people miss. The fat you hate is annoying. The fat you cannot see is dangerous. And here is what makes it worse. Visceral fat does not accumulate the way you think. It is not leftovers from too many dinners. It is not the result of skipping the gym for a month. Your body does not build visceral fat by accident. It builds it on purpose. There is an architect behind this. A hormone that looked at your stress, your sleep, your daily grind, and gave a direct order to your fat cells. Pack it around the organs, stack it deep, prepare for the worst. To understand why your body is doing this to you, we need to meet that architect. Cortisol has a reputation problem. The internet calls it the stress hormone, the villain, the thing you need to suppress, hack, eliminate. That is wrong. For 200,000 years, cortisol was the single most important chemical in your body. It kept your ancestors alive. It is not the enemy. It is the security guard. The problem is the security guard never clocks out. Here is how the system was designed to work. Your ancestor walks through the savannah. A predator appears. The brain fires a chain reaction. Hypothalamus to pituitary gland to adrenal glands. 3 stops, 1 command. The body calls it the HPA axis. You can call it the alarm system. The moment that alarm sounds, cortisol floods the bloodstream, and it does not ask permission. It shuts down digestion, shuts down reproduction, shuts down muscle repair. And every system that is not essential for the next 10 minutes goes dark. Like a fire alarm in a building. Elevators stop, lights cut, every door locks. One priority, get out alive. Cortisol then dumps glucose into the blood. Instant fuel. Your muscles have what they need to fight or run. 10 minutes later, the predator is gone. Cortisol drops. The alarm shuts off. The building goes back to normal. That was the design. Short, intense, over. But cortisol did something else. Something that explains the fat around your belly right now. After every emergency, the body needed to restock. It needed to store fuel close to the one organ that processes everything, the liver. Fat on the arms and legs was useless for this. Too far from the processing plant. Too heavy when running. So evolution engineered a distribution system. And it packed the abdominal cavity with glucocorticoid receptors, cortisol magnets. When cortisol is high, these receptors pull fat from the bloodstream and lock it around the organs. The body did not build the gas station in the suburbs. It built it right next to the power plant. Instant access, maximum efficiency. For a hunter-gatherer, this was genius. Survive the attack, store the fuel, be ready for the next one. Visceral fat was not a disease. It was a survival backpack. Built-in life insurance. The system worked perfectly for 200,000 years. Then the world changed, and the software did not. There are no tigers anymore. No rival tribes. No famines. Instead, there are deadlines. Financial pressure, traffic, blue light from screens at midnight. A notification from your boss at 11 p.m. That notification is not a predator. But your adrenal glands cannot tell the difference. The old threats lasted 10 minutes. The new threats last 16 hours a day. Your ancestors' cortisol spiked and dropped. Yours spikes and stays. It never returns to baseline. The alarm never shuts off. The building never goes back to normal. Your body sits in a permanent state of emergency. The security guard stands at the door with his hand on the alarm, every hour, every day, scanning for a danger that is not coming. And every hour that alarm stays on, the receptors around your organs keep pulling, keep packing, keep storing fat for a famine that will never arrive. A 200,000-year-old operating system running in a world it was never designed for. And there is no software update. But cortisol alone does not build the trap. It has a partner. And together, they create a loop your body cannot escape. Here's where the trap snaps shut. Cortisol is high. It has been high all day. Your body reads this as danger. So the liver does what it was told to do. It dumps glucose into the bloodstream. Fuel for a fight. Fuel for a sprint. Fuel for survival. But you are not fighting. You are not sprinting. You are sitting at a desk, sitting in traffic, sitting on a couch. The glucose has nowhere to go. Now the pancreas has a problem. Blood sugar is rising and nothing is burning it off. So it releases insulin. Insulin's only job in this moment is to clear that sugar out of the blood, and the fastest way to clear it is to store it. Insulin is a storage hormone. In the presence of high cortisol, it does not send that energy to your muscles. It does not fuel your brain. It takes that glucose and locks it straight into the visceral fat cells. The exact cells cortisol just told your body to build. Cortisol orders the fuel. Insulin stores it. And because cortisol never drops, the cycle never breaks. Think of it like a washing machine stuck on the spin cycle. It keeps spinning. You put less clothes in. It still spins. You run laps around the laundry room. It still spins. You cannot fix this by changing what is inside the machine. You have to pull the plug. But the body is not done. The damage goes deeper. Cortisol is so critical for survival that the body will sacrifice anything to produce more of it. It uses a raw material called pregnenolone. But pregnenolone is also the building block for testosterone and estrogen, your sex hormones. When stress is chronic, the body makes a choice. It steals the raw material from the sex hormone production line and reroutes it to cortisol. Every single day, the factory only has one assembly line. When the emergency order comes in, everything else gets pulled off the belt. Testosterone, estrogen, they sit in the queue indefinitely. This is why you see people with thin arms, thin legs, and a hard distended belly. Their body is not just gaining fat, it is cannibalizing muscle from the limbs, converting it into glucose and redepositing it as fat around the organs. They are being structurally rearranged from the inside out, a survival blueprint written for the Stone Age, executing in real time. And then comes the craving. When stress stays high, the body releases a molecule called neuropeptide Y. Its job is simple. Make you eat. Specifically, make you eat carbohydrates, the fastest, densest source of energy the brain knows. This is not a lack of discipline. This is not emotional eating. This is a chemical signal as powerful as the drive to breathe. Your body believes it is burning energy fighting a threat. It demands replenishment. And it will not stop demanding until you comply. You are not weak. You are being chemically hijacked. Same stress, same cortisol, same glucose dump, same insulin spike, same fat storage, same craving. Every single day, a loop that feeds itself. The loop is clear. The question is, how do you pull the plug? Most people try to break this cycle by attacking it from the wrong side. Let me show you what does not work, and why. Eat less. That is the first thing everyone tries. Cut calories, shrink the meals, starve the fat away. But a caloric deficit is a stress signal. The body reads restriction as scarcity. Scarcity means danger. Danger means cortisol. You are not breaking the loop. You are tightening it. Run more. That is the second thing. Long, steady cardio. 40 minutes on the treadmill, an hour on the pavement. Your body reads that as a prolonged hunt. Something is chasing you, and it has been chasing you for an hour. Cortisol stays elevated. The body holds fat tighter. You finish the run exhausted, inflamed, and no leaner than when you started. Take a fat burner, a detox tea, a metabolism booster. There is no pill that overrides a hormonal siege. Move on. Just relax. Manage your stress. Think positive. Telling someone with chronic cortisol elevation to just relax is like telling a tall person to just be shorter. The problem is not that you do not want to calm down. The problem is your biology has forgotten how. The alarm system is not stuck because you are choosing to be anxious. It is stuck because the off switch has not been pressed in years. Every single one of these approaches either adds more stress to a system already drowning in it, or ignores the root entirely. Eating less adds scarcity stress. Chronic cardio adds physical stress. Supplements bypass the mechanism completely, and telling yourself to calm down does nothing to the HPA axis that is running the show. You cannot starve your way out of this. You cannot run your way out of this. You cannot burn your way out of a siege. You have to end the war. And ending this war requires exactly 5 signals. Not supplements, not starvation. 5 things your body has been waiting to hear. These are not restrictions. These are not punishments. These are 5 messages you send to your autonomic nervous system, each one saying the same thing in a different language. The war is over. Stand down. Release the reserves. Signal 1. Walk. Not run. Not sprint. Walk. Walking is the baseline state of human existence. For 200,000 years, your ancestors walked for hours every day, not to exercise, not to burn calories, to move through the world. And the brain learned to read that movement as one thing: safety. When you walk, the landscape moves past your eyes. Trees pass, buildings pass, the horizon shifts. This is called optic flow, and it does something remarkable to your brain. It calms the amygdala, the fear center. It tells the brain you are moving forward. You are not cornered. You are not trapped. You are not under siege. Think of walking as leading your brain through a forest and showing it, look, nothing is hiding here. Every step is a safety report filed directly to the nervous system. But there is a second effect. At low intensity, your body preferentially burns fat for fuel, not glucose, fat. And it does this without triggering the fight or flight alarm. No cortisol spike, no insulin surge, just a slow, steady draw from the reserves, including the visceral stores. 30 to 45 minutes. Steady pace. Every day or close to it. Morning is best. Natural sunlight reinforces your circadian rhythm. After a meal works too. It blunts the glucose spike. You do not need to sweat. You do not need to gasp. You just need to move. Every step is not exercise. It is a safety signal sent directly to your nervous system. Walking tells your body the danger has passed. But cortisol already took something from you. Muscle. And you need to take it back. Signal 2. Lift heavy things. Cortisol is catabolic. It breaks tissue down. It dismantled muscle from your limbs and converted it to glucose. To reverse that, you need the strongest anabolic signal the body recognizes: heavy resistance training. When you load your skeleton with weight, the body receives a clear command: build, increase testosterone, increase growth hormone. Both are direct antagonists to cortisol. Both fight visceral fat storage at the receptor level. And there is a mechanical benefit most people miss. More muscle means more insulin sensitivity. When you have muscle, glucose has somewhere to go. It gets absorbed into muscle tissue instead of circulating in the blood. It's waiting to be stored as visceral fat. You are building an exit route for the glucose that cortisol keeps dumping. Walking turned off the alarm. Lifting rebuilds what the fire destroyed. 3 to 4 sessions a week. Compound movements: squat, deadlift, press, row. These recruit the most muscle with the least complexity. Heavy enough to challenge you. If you can hold a conversation in the middle of a set, it is not heavy enough. You are not exercising to lose weight. You are rebuilding what cortisol dismantled. You are moving right. You are building right. Now the question shifts to fuel, not how much. When? Signal 3. Eat with your clock, not against it. Cortisol follows a rhythm. It is supposed to peak in the morning. That is what wakes you up. And it is supposed to drop in the evening. That is what lets you sleep. This is the circadian design. Your hormones have a schedule. Modern life inverts it. Coffee at 4 in the afternoon keeps cortisol elevated when it should be falling. Sugar at 10 at night spikes insulin during the repair window. You are running your biology in reverse. Fix the timing and you fix the signal. Morning, eat protein, eggs, meat, fish. Protein supports dopamine production and thyroid function. It sets a metabolic pace for the entire day without spiking insulin. You are not dieting. You are giving the engine the right fuel at ignition. Evening, eat your complex carbohydrates. Sweet potato, rice, oats. Carbohydrates trigger serotonin, which converts to melatonin, the sleep hormone. By shifting carbs to dinner, you blunt the evening cortisol spike. You help the body transition from defense mode to repair mode before you even close your eyes. Caffeine, before 1 or 2 in the afternoon. No exceptions. That 4 p.m. latte is not picking you up. It is holding the alarm switch down for another 6 hours. Same food, same calories, different timing, different hormonal outcome. You are not changing what you eat. You are synchronizing your meals with the clock your body already runs on. You fixed the day, now fix the night. Because what happens in the next 7 hours decides whether everything you just did actually counts. Signal 4. Protect your sleep. 1 night of short sleep, 5 hours instead of 7, and your insulin sensitivity drops by up to 40%. 1 night, 40%. Let that satisfactorily land. When you sleep less than 7 hours, and your body reads it as physical injury, not inconvenience, injury. It raises baseline cortisol the next morning to keep you alert. That cortisol triggers visceral fat storage before you eat a single bite of breakfast. Then comes the feeling you know, tired but wired, exhausted but unable to fall asleep. Stress hormones stuck in the on position. Cortisol high at night means poor sleep. Poor sleep means higher cortisol tomorrow. A loop inside the loop, 7 to 8 hours. Cool room, 18 to 20 degrees. Complete darkness. Same bedtime every night, including weekends. No screens 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Sleep is not downtime. Sleep is when the system reboots. Skip the reboot and every step you built during the day runs at half power. You are not resting. You are repairing. When and repair does not happen with the alarm still ringing. 4 signals sent, 1 left. This one does not require movement, does not require food, does not require sleep. It requires something your body has almost forgotten how to do. Signal 5. Lower the noise. Stress burns through magnesium faster than any other mineral. Magnesium is the body's natural dampener. It keeps the stress response from overreacting to every small trigger. When it runs low, the alarm system develops a hair trigger. Everything spikes cortisol. A loud noise, a short email, a bad night, the threshold collapses. Magnesium glycinate, the form your nervous system absorbs best. Take it in the evening before sleep. It is not a magic pill. It is restocking the raw material your stress response burned through. Ashwagandha and rhodiola, adaptogens that lower serum cortisol over time, not overnight, over weeks. They do not eliminate stress. They lower the biological volume so your body can hear the other signals you are sending. Cold exposure. 30 seconds to 2 minutes of cold water at the end of your shower. It spikes cortisol briefly. That is the point. A short controlled blast that trains your nervous system to recover fast. Over time, your baseline drops. You also activate brown adipose tissue, fat that burns energy to produce heat. Not all fat is the enemy. And then there is the breath. Deep diaphragmatic breathing stimulates the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body, running from brainstem to gut. When you activate it, the parasympathetic nervous system switches on, rest and digest. This is the only state in which your body feels safe enough to unlock the emergency reserves. Not a meditation cliche. A physiological switch. 5 minutes, twice a day. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, exhale 6 to 8 seconds, especially before sleep, especially when you feel the stress climbing. Magnesium lowers the sensitivity of the alarm. Cold exposure teaches the body to tell real fire from false smoke. Deep breathing is how you put the weapon down. And tell your body there is nothing left to fight. 5 signals, no pills, no punishment, just a conversation between you and your biology. In a language it finally understands. You now have the blueprint, but I want you to understand what you are actually doing here. You are not following a fat loss program. You are not grinding through another diet. You are rewriting the operating system. Every walk is a signal. Every heavy set is a reconstruction. Every meal timed right is a synchronization. Every hour of sleep is a repair cycle. Every deep breath is a ceasefire. You are not the person who cannot lose belly fat. You are the person who finally understands why it was there in the first place and knows exactly how to tell the body it is no longer needed. Your body was never fighting you. It was protecting you from a threat that does not exist anymore. Now you are showing it, for the first time in years, that it can stop. But there is one more factor I did not cover today. It is not a hormone, not a food, not a supplement. It is something that happens silently in the background, and it keeps cortisol elevated even when you do everything right. Most people have no idea it is there, and it can undo all 5 signals in 48 hours. That is the next video. The fortress is crumbling. Let it fall. Welcome to Slim Sensei, where simple science meets smarter fat loss.